Hello and welcome to the Firmly Founded Teen Podcast, where teens get tips and coaching on how to feel more in control of their lives. Because while the teenage years may be unstable and awkward, you don't have to be. I'm your host, Joey Mascio, certified life coach for teens and young adults. Before we get into things, this is the time where I read a review. But I don't have any reviews yet because this is the first couple episodes. So do me a favor, please write a review on iTunes. Then your review could be read live on my podcast, which is always cool. In your review, tell me how you are liking the podcast, what I can do to make it better, and let me know what topic you think I should cover next. Also, I am running a contest right now, which I'll talk more about at the end of the episode. But you could win a $50, a $100, or a $150 Amazon gift card. Because I know you're going to be cooped up at home for the next little while, and I want to make that a little bit easier for you if I can. Now, the episode. Welcome to episode 4. They're called feelings, Brah. Now, why is it called that? Well, because quite often when I have teens come to me, boys or girls, they think something is wrong with them. They don't like what's going on inside of them. And they say, something must be wrong. And I say, no, nothing's wrong with you. They're called feelings, Brah. So right now you might be thinking, oh no, he's talking about feelings. Yes, I am. Get over it. We all have them. You have feelings, I have feelings, they have feelings, everybody has feelings. Saying, I don't really have feelings is like saying, I don't really have a face. No, everybody has a face. You might be hiding it under some emo type hair or something, or you might shy away, but you definitely got a face, and you definitely have feelings. Some people work really hard to bottle them up or ignore them or to push them aside, but they're there. If you don't want to talk about or admit that you have feelings, that's fine, but it's just like not wanting to admit or talk about the coronavirus. All right, you can go on and do your thing, but eventually it's going to affect you in a real personal way. So it's always better to talk about it sooner rather than later. And just like the coronavirus right now, no one is immune to feelings. Is it too soon? No? Okay. Today I'm talking to teens about what feelings are, where they come from, and what you can do with them. First off, what are feelings? Best way I've heard feelings described is that feelings are vibrations in your body. Dude, that's like totally hippie sounding. Maybe, but that just means feelings show up physically in your body. Think about it. We always say things like, I'm gonna have a knot in my stomach, or I have butterflies in my stomach, or my face is getting flushed with embarrassment, or I'm just hot with anger. I'm weighed down with depression. Those are all just different ways of describing how feelings are affecting your body. And all those can be considered a type of vibration. Now, another word for feeling is emotion. And I once heard that emotion could be short for E-motion, or energy in motion. Emotions are just energy showing up in your body in different ways. Oh, I feel nervous. Oh, I feel scared. Oh, I feel frustrated. It's just the energy in your body moving around. The important thing to realize about feelings is that feelings can't hurt you. They can just make you really, really uncomfortable, but that's about it. No one has ever died from feelings. Cause of death? Awkwardness. If that was the case, I would have died like 800 times in middle school. Now, you might be thinking, Joey, you're a bozo. Of course feelings can hurt you. What about anxiety attacks? I'll be doing a whole episode on anxiety attacks sometime in the future. But at the end of the day, an anxiety attack is just something that was intense and unpleasant, but you went through it, you experienced it, and now it's gone and you survived. It doesn't create a long-term pain like falling off your bike and scraping your knee, or twisting your ankle playing volleyball, or getting a lance stuck in your thigh while you're jousting. Hey, you don't know what I do on the weekends. But most teens I've talked with don't have anxiety attacks, they just experience anxiety. And that's a feeling. And the worst thing that it does to you is just make you feel uncomfortable. Now, knowing what feelings are and being aware of your own feelings is really, really important. Why? Because feelings are why we do anything. So if you want to understand why you do something, you have to understand your feelings. If you want to be able to make any change in your life, you have to be aware of the feelings that you have that is causing you to do what you're currently doing so that you can make adjustments so you can do what you actually want to be doing. That leads me to the second part. Where do feelings come from? Feelings come from our thoughts. Period. It's true. We may think that other people outside of us do things to cause us to feel feelings inside of us, but that's not true. In fact, it's impossible. No one has the ability to make you feel something. And if there is someone in your life right now that's making you feel things, then they're a witch and you probably want to get on their good side and get their autograph. But for realsies, other people cannot control how you feel, only you can. Still don't think that's true? Think about it. You and your friend are dressed alike on twin day at school, and Becky says something to criticize your outfit in front of everybody at lunch. You feel embarrassed, but your friend doesn't. Why is that? You're both wearing the exact same thing. It's because the thoughts each one of you are choosing to have about it. You could be thinking, oh my heck, Becky's right. I knew we should have went with the leather jackets instead of lederhosen. If my crush heard that, I am done. And your friend might be thinking, I wonder if Becky's having a bad day. She can say what she wants because we are going to look awesome in the yearbook. Aw, Becky doesn't have any friends to dress up with. Now, each one of those thoughts will cause a different emotion. And the thing is, you can have the power to choose any thought you want, which means if you are a trained, firmly founded mind ninja, then you can actually control your emotions in any situation. What? Now, some of you guys may be arguing the point in your head that you can't pick any thought you want, and the reason why my friend could pick different thoughts is because of who she is, or her experiences, her background, or the circumstances in her lives. As the way I see things, that's just simply not true. Anybody has the option to think any thought that they want. You might not be able to think the exact same thought as somebody else and believe it, but you still have the option to pick better thoughts than the thoughts you have now that are leading to emotions you don't want. The ability to strategically and purposefully analyze your thoughts and be able to change them is called thought work. Now, if you'd like to be trained on thought work so you can become a firmly founded mind ninja, DM me. But most teens and young adults are not trained on thought work. So that leads me to the next and final part of this episode on feelings, what to do with them. The answer? Feel them. That's not a joke, I'm serious. Most people do not feel their emotions. They resist them, they react to them, or they avoid them. But they don't feel them. Because we think life is supposed to be all good feelings, but it's not. It's actually supposed to be 50-50. Half the time you feel positive feelings, half the time you feel negative feelings. Now, we may get that conceptually, but we don't really want to accept it. We're always like, yeah, you're supposed to take the good with the bad, yada, 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 but I don't want to feel bad right now. We never want to feel negative emotions, so we think because we don't want them, that means we shouldn't ever have them. We think that so much that when we experience negative emotions, we think something has gone seriously wrong. And then that just adds more negative emotions on top of the one we were already feeling. Like right now, for example, with this pandemic, 1 in 4 Americans have been told to stay at home, but 4 in 4 teens are being told to stay home because pretty much all the schools are closed. So nearly every teen in America right now is at home. And you know what they're feeling? Bored. That is an emotion we fight hardcore these days, even before the pandemic started. We never, ever want to feel bored. And if we feel bored, then we think our lives are just not exciting, or that something is wrong, or it shouldn't be this way. So instead of feeling and processing boredom, we resist, we react, and we avoid boredom. But those 3 ways will never help you conquer boredom. We resist boredom by just trying to ignore it or not admitting that we're bored. We're playing video games for the 10th hour in a row and no, this is fun. This is so much fun. No, I'm totally enjoying this right now. I'm not bored. When you resist boredom, you're just really fooling yourself. We react to boredom by verbally saying out loud, "Oh, I'm bored. This is so boring. Oh, this is the worst." And we whine and we throw a little tantrum. We might kick things and we keep asking people around us to solve our boredom problem. We avoid boredom by trying to find something to do to get rid of it. I just don't want to feel bored, so I need to find something entertaining to do right now. Because we'd rather feel anything but bored. And sometimes it gets dangerous because then we start doing things to avoid boredom, and those things might be questionable or lead us to do things that's going to make us feel worse than being bored. But what if you could just sit there and be bored? What if you mastered being bored? You actually just let it go through you. It would no longer be a problem if you allowed yourself just to feel bored and decided this is okay. Then half of the negative feeling that you're getting from being bored that's coming and resisting it would go away. And some of you guys are thinking, that sounds incredibly boring. Good. What if it was okay to be bored and it wasn't something you had to run from? Right? That's when you really start to process emotions. Now, there's 4 steps to processing emotions that I have learned to do. Step number 1 is to just relax and breathe. Breathing is so crazy powerful. We don't even realize we're doing it wrong half of the time. Right? And when we're not breathing properly, that causes a lot of problems up here in our mind and in our body. So the first step is, if you're feeling bored or any other emotion, just relax and breathe. The second step is to identify the emotion. Right now we're talking about being bored, but if it's something else, you need to identify it in one word. Give it a name, whatever it is: anger, frustration, jealousy. The third step is to assign it a location and a description. So when you give it a location, you are giving it a location in your body. I feel bored in my chest. I feel angry in my head. I feel nervous in my whole body. Then you want to give it a description too. All right, for me, when I feel frustrated, it shows up as red trapezoids behind my ears because that's just where I feel it. That's where the energy shows up. And it's really helpful to identify where it is in your body, to give it a location and a description, because then it doesn't become the monster that you can't see. Because you're always more afraid of the monster you can't see in horror films than the one that steps out into the light. And you're like, oh, that's what it looks like. It's not too bad. So it's the same thing with emotions. Give it a location in your body and give it a description. Size, shape, texture, color, however you want to do it. And the fourth step is just to give it time. And that, especially for teens these days, can be really hard to do. But right now, during this shutdown, we all got nothing but time. So you might as well give it some time to process through your body. And eventually, a beautiful thing's going to happen. You'll be bored, but you won't care. How amazing would that be? All right? Or you'll be anxious, and that will be okay to be anxious. Because when you let an emotion process through you, you give it permission to come, but you also give it permission to leave because you're not resisting it. You're just letting it happen. This is like the one thing that if I could just teach every teen how to do this and to be okay with feeling all the negative emotions, I could get your teen years to improve drastically. Because half of our teen years are spent trying to fight against feeling things we don't want to feel. But what if we just got rid of all that nonsense? What if we just allowed ourselves to feel whatever came our way? And we knew that we could do it. Think about it. Just give it a try. I mean, what else are you going to do? You can't leave your house. Until next time, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm running a contest right now until April 15th. to help get the word out and to add some excitement to your lives while you're locked up for this whole pandemic thing. Plus, I want to do my part to help stimulate the economy. So if you leave me a review on iTunes and include your Instagram handle so I can contact you, you'll be entered into the contest to win a $50, a $100, or a $150 Amazon gift card. If you leave a review and follow me on Instagram, you'll be entered twice. Want more entries into the contest? If you know someone who needs this message, find the post on Instagram where I announce this episode and tag them in the comments. You will get one additional entry for every person you tag who needs this message. So to review, after you left a review on iTunes with your Instagram handle and follow me on Instagram, you will get one additional entry for every person you tag in the comment section on my Instagram post for this episode. Good luck.